mind, we're going to see a quick fix drone.
Welcome back to the coverage of YCS Bochum 2018. We said it before, we're going to say it a couple more times this weekend. 1,951 players, which makes this the largest European tournament of all time. So we're quite excited for this, and we've had a really cool round one feature match that also
that so
knocked it home out of the park. Eugen Heid, a player that went to the World Championship before, an actual European champion, going up against Jörg Müller, also from Germany, who went also to the World Championship because he was top 4, I think at the very same event that Eugen won, in fact. Although I'm not 100% on that, but he's also been at Worlds, so two veterans of the game. Very interesting matchup between them. Now for the second round, we picked somebody who actually walked up to you yesterday.
Yeah.
And said, hey, I got something different here.
Hold on, I have a prop.
You have a prop?
I have a prop. It was actually the first ever time someone brought me a copy of their deck list and just said, here it is. You know, usually people are like, oh, here's my deck, and start handing me cards and things. And I don't want to drop people's cards. Not that I'm prone to dropping things, but I am.
Yeah.
And
are you a germaphobe when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh?
No,
decks?
not really. I just don't want to, you know, someone's Pot of Desires looks lovely. It's first edition. And, oh, I've just dropped it on the floor, and now it looks stupid.
Yeah, now they're going to sue you.
But this guy brings me a deck list. I'm like, I can't drop this. It's, you know.
Right.
It's pretty
and
solid.
what is he going to play? And it's Michael Neugebauer from Austria.
Yeah, he's playing Lunalights.
Playing Lunalight.
Yeah, which is completely...
I haven't seen that very often.
No, me neither. I don't know what this deck does, but it's I know it's fusion-based.
There's a bit of a difference between the first round feature match where both players were playing rogue decks. Here we have one player playing the so-called deck to beat. I'm just going to switch this over. So, Thomas, we have one player who's playing Pendulum Magician here.
Yeah, it seems like a very standard Pendulum Magician deck. Opted not to play the FTK. 4 hand traps in the main deck and some more in the side. I don't know how the hand traps are going to be stacking up against the Lunalight deck. All I know is Black Sheep because we saw it in Zodiac. But we'll see what that actually does to this Lunalight player. So just like you, I don't know the combos to expect.
No, he's playing like, you know, it's not like he. You know, some people, they struggle to get the cards to play the strong deck. He's got 3 evenly matched in here.
Right.
So it's not like he was struggling to get cards. You know, he wanted to play Lunalights.
Guys, before we head over to the match, let's just take a quick look at the stats for this tournament today. First up, we got the country breakdown. Not all that surprising. Obviously, many players from Germany. Although, you have to say, 1,200 players is a pretty large number. It looks like the market is doing really well.
Yeah.
We have a lot of active players in Germany, and they all came out to Bochum.
Yeah, that's more players than we've had at YCSs in the past.
Yeah. And then the second strongest European market, Italy, also sending 107 players. Not too shabby. And then Netherlands, of course, they're sharing a border with Germany, which is like right next door. It's like a 1-hour drive from some places in the Netherlands and even less from other places in the Netherlands if you're like right across the border. So all of that, not super surprising. Gotta give props, however, to the UK. 79 players, all of them kind of had to fly. I mean, some of them might have taken the tunnel, but kind of unlikely. 2 of them are here with me, but you're not playing. So.
No.
So that's it for the country breakdown for the time being. Let's take another look at the deck breakdown. Oh, sorry for stressing you, tech team. This is what the deck breakdown is looking right now. We're not 100% sure with all of these numbers, but it gives you a very good idea. If you add up Pendulum FTK, which is in 5th spot, together with Pendulum Magician, you're looking at almost 400 players out of 1,950 players playing the so-called most competitive deck this weekend. But I'm surprised about the numbers of the runner-up and the 3rd place and the 4th place, because usually the top 5 decks together make up something like 40% of the field.
Yeah.
So it seems like a lot of players went with something different and thought like, I'm going for the rogue factor this weekend.
We were talking about this before the start of this round, that, you know, there's a lot more players here, which means that, you know, a lot of YCSs are filled with very competitive players, whereas much more players, maybe quite a few new players are here as well. They must be new because, you know, we don't usually get this many. So yeah, they're possibly just playing, you know, the pile of cards.
They're possibly just playing Lunalight.
Yeah, exactly. They're playing Lunalight. Everybody's playing Lunalights.
No, then it would show up in those lists. All right, guys, that's it for the stats for the time being. We're going to be revisiting the stats over the course of the weekend to let you know, okay, are more players moving up with this deck. Was this the right choice for the weekend? Having said all that, I think it's time to get our game on with the round 2 feature match. All right, here we have Michael Neugebauer on the right-hand side with his Lunalight deck.
What's his last name?
Neugebauer.
Wow, that's a cool name.
Yeah, and his first name is probably Michael, but he prefers the English pronunciation, so he made a point of that and said I wanted it spelled in the British way, basically. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think I saw the name Michael Neugebauer in past events. So there you go. His opponent, Philipp Weidinger, preferred to spell his name the way that it was spelled on his birth certificate. He is the one with Pendulum Magician. And now we see the cards coming in.
Pretty sure we've seen Philipp in the feature match before.
Yeah, you were actually saying, I remember this name.
Yeah,
I've seen it before.
Definitely remember him. And in fact, when I saw him, I then immediately remembered him as well.
Ooh, so 2 evenly matched in the opening hand for Michael Neugebauer, and Philipp is going first. So at least that part looks shaping up well for him.
Philipp certainly got an amazing hand to kick things off with. Dragon Shrine, absolutely the card that you want to see one of in your opening hand as a Pendulum player. It just gets the ball rolling, finds you some Pendulum monsters, gets you the free monster on the board and an extra card into your hand to use as either a Scale or a Pendulum monster to summon. It remains to be seen just how much he's able to put out in terms of negations this turn. If he has 1 negation for a spell or trap, he is going to be having problems with evenly matched. But if he can field 2 negations with his first turn, that'll leave Michael in a really awkward place where even the second copy of evenly matched might not be enough to break down what gets established this turn.
It's going to be that timeless play of can you break my board or not.
Yeah, which usually involves sphere mode. I actually saw a really great video the other week of where that was not the like purpose of the video, was this whole break the board thing, but it was very funny. There was one guy like, oh, here's my board, this, and this, and then he goes, well, sphere mode, and he goes, no, you can't have sphere mode. Oh, Volcanic Queen, nah, you're not allowed that either. It's like, what's the purpose of this challenge?
All right.
We see Philipp here getting the second Pendulum monster onto his field before even using his normal summon to just start churning out Electromites, and the advantage that he can get by summoning 2 or even 3 Electromites before Pendulum summoning just gets so huge so quickly. Astrograph and Chronograph and Dragon Shrine all in the opening hand. He has everything that he needs to put together a huge board.
Yeah, I remember the summoning graph monsters were really not that good before this version of the Pendulum. We did see Astrograph a little bit during the last version of the Pendulum Magician deck. I certainly played it because I liked playing Zark, but that was frowned upon by most.
Yeah, now we see just the ability to special summon Pendulum monsters to your side of the field without using your Pendulum summon is so critical, because if you don't Pendulum summon after summoning an Electromite, you really aren't Pendulum summoning for full value in this deck.
Yeah.
I love how Thomas is not getting distracted. He's just sticking with it. You're trying to get him off script and everything, and Thomas is like, no, I got this. I can explain everything to you guys. Thank you. This is good. This is good.
This is what Tom's here for. He's focused.
Yeah, and you're testing him.
Yeah.
It's good. All right.
Marcello was very good at this as well, keeping his eye on the game while I talked about random stuff. It was great.
All right. So how relaxed are you if you're Michael Neugebauer in this situation? Are you already like, nah, those 2 evenly matched are not enough, or are you still hopeful?
Well, a man playing evenly matched in Lunalight has clearly played a lot of Lunalight in his time, so he'll know exactly what his deck does, but he may be relying on the fact that Philipp won't necessarily know what's going on.
Right.
But it doesn't matter if you don't know what's going on if you're playing Pendulum Magician, because you can just build a board that has so many negates that even if you drop one at the wrong time, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You've got more sat in reserve.
Giving Pendulum players a bad name here, Thomas.
There's certainly plenty of skill to be had from the Pendulum player side, particularly when it comes to the mirror match, but you don't need the skill.
I heard the gear stick grinding in reverse there, Ollie.
You don't necessarily need that skill if you're playing against a deck that doesn't have the power level.
Okay, I'm gonna say it's a nice save. That's a very nice comeback you had
Put
there.
the shovel down.
Pendulum Magician is definitely the sort of deck that you want to take to this kind of event, because if you get decks that can't compete for power level in the early round, you can play round 1, 2, 3 without really waking up. You sit there, your cards play themselves.
Even if you missed your coffee in the morning, you're still in good shape. Okay.
The first rounds of the day, for some people, is going to be learning how to play the Pendulum deck. They're going to go back to their friends afterwards and be like, wow, I hadn't realized how broke this was.
Oh, yeah. Actually, we've seen that a couple of times. This is when you have these super teams with lots and lots of experienced players, and one guy just didn't have the time to invest into playtesting, and his friends are just handing him a deck, and then after 2 or 3 rounds, he's like, guys, this deck is completely nuts. Like, you didn't say this to me. And they're like, yeah, we said this, but you were not listening. You were not paying attention because it is that good.
Yeah, and it all depends on whether they chose to play the list that the team was going for, or if they were like, yeah, Clifford's are really good right now, right?
You always play the team list. If you got the right team, always on the team list.
Okay. Right.
To be fair, I've not seen what he's playing, but Marcello was saying that he was toying with playing Invoked yesterday. So
well, I mean, Eugen went with Paleozoic, so that speaks volumes if you ask me. Now, I haven't actually checked. Do we know what Joshua is playing?
I don't know. We could check it on the.
Oh, right. Yeah, actually, we do have that information available. If I can hack into the system, somehow manage
into the mainframe.
Yeah, I somehow managed to find the secret code here. Okay, just gonna find Joshua. Oh my God, so many Schmidt people here. He must be. Must be.
It's almost like we're in Germany.
Yeah, he's playing Pendulum.
FTK.
The FTK version, yes.
What about Marcello? Does it say? Did he? Because Marcello does this a lot. He's like, hey, I'm playing this really off-the-wall deck. And then on Saturday, I go see him, and he's like, yeah, I'm playing the meta deck.
He's playing Pendulum Magician.
Yeah, see?
This could be bad news for our Pendulum player here. He's finished on a board with only a single negation. He has the Evil Swarm Nightmare, which is for putting face down monsters special summoned. It's a quick effect, can be used in either player's turn, but only the Odd Eyes Vortex will be able to negate evenly matched, so the second one's going to really hit home.
Wow. He's going to... Oh, and there's a Raigeki also. And Mike Neugebauer like, don't underestimate this guy. Look at him.
So he may not even choose to use the second evenly matched. If he goes for the double evenly matched, he'll still be staring down likely the Evil Swarm Nightmare, but he can use the first evenly matched in his battle phase to bait out the negation for the Vortex, and then follow that up with Raigeki to clear out everything.
Wow. That's even better.
So we see the Zephyr Metaltron. That one has an effect when destroyed.
Well, sorry.
On Philip's field in his extra monster zone.
I think we don't have it here yet. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we're waiting for the app to update here. Unless you want to look it up, Luke.
What's the name again? It's gone. It's gone already.
Okay, so much
interesting that Philip decides not even to try and negate that first evenly matched, preferring instead to keep his negation available for the rest of the turn.
That's pretty fair. Do you not think Raigeki, he should still Raigeki just to get rid of the negate?
Possibly not. If he's able to save the Raigeki until after the negation has been used, he can clear out the Vortex.
Can definitely clear it out.
Because at this point, Michael is playing without a battle phase.
Yeah.
So he won't be able to attack over the Vortex Dragon, and he may need that Raigeki after the negation has come down just to finish clearing this board.
Quite interesting. Like this is going...
This is going perfect for Michael. I actually think that the loss of the pendulum scales for Philip is more important than we're letting on here.
Well, whilst it appears like it's going perfectly for Michael, I think Philip's actually played very well in choosing not to negate that first evenly match.
Right.
It leaves him in a position where he does actually have some level of control over the rest of the turn.
But as you said earlier, Michael's now going to do a bunch of stuff that Philip has no idea on the impact that it actually makes in the Lunalight deck.
Well, I have no idea what impact it makes.
Yeah, well, none of us do. But do you know who does? Michael does. And if Philip doesn't negate at the right time, I'm sure Michael's going to take full advantage of that.
See, Philip, just as I would, picking up and reading every single Lunalight card. Like, oh, and then there's another one. And they all look kind of the same.
Right.
Yeah, they've all got a weird moon behind them.
Looking over the list of players, we got Patrick Berger, who's playing Spyro. So he's not going with...
Not letting it go.
Yeah.
Let it go, guys. It's okay.
We saw Spiral doing very well at some regional tournaments in the UK recently.
Yeah.
I took first place at Cardiff Regional, going undefeated, and then the same player, Tim Cox, who we saw in the final of YCS London.
Yeah.
So he won Cardiff Regional, and then I believe he had a 6-1 performance at the next week's regional in Worcester.
Nice.
So it still has the ways and means of getting there.
Yeah. Tim is really kind of come out of nowhere in the UK scene. Or at least as far as I'm concerned, people who know him probably, saw it happening. But it seemed like there was just nothing from him, and then suddenly he was at the LLDS, and he's doing really well there, and really well in the YCS London as well.
Right.
And now he's, I think he's pretty high on the leaderboard for
up and coming
for points.
Right.
He feels like a duelist whose success has been long overdue. I've been friends with him for quite a while.
Okay.
Very lovely guy, and he's always been a very good player. He just hasn't always had the Premier event results to back that up. And now he's really found his stride, and he's performing as he's deserved to have been performing.
Oh, it's nice when people are finally getting the fruits of all that labor. So here we see that players are seeming to have a bit of a misunderstanding of how a card is working, or double checking. In terms of other players that I've featured before, Rafael Nevin, our last YCS winner, is playing an unknown deck. Kim Chus Jensen from Denmark, who was kind of famous, like for many years ago, he was playing Dinos whenever he could. He's playing Unknown this weekend. I think it was Dinosaurs, I'm not sure.
Unknown's my favorite deck.
Yeah, could be interesting. Yeah, and you just every once in a while you see another player popping up, like Norman Wilde, for example, who's had a couple of top 32s. He's playing another deck. Fabio Minicozzi from Italy, he's playing Trickster.
We see other being very strongly represented this tournament.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of
needs to sort it out.
calling for some ban list nerf to the other deck.
It's a bit weird in the way that not all other decks are other decks. It might also be that somebody's playing something like Invoked Mech Knight, but since it's not in the top 7 decks, it's just going to be listed under other.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens in day 2, if there's like more decks moving towards the top of the statistics.
We really should find a Mech Knight player and feature him next round.
Yeah, I mean, we got all the tools here, so we're going to make it happen. And of course, you guys can let us know in the chat what you would like to see. We will try and check it in between rounds, although more often than not, we're quite busy between rounds, actually, preparing everything for the next feature match. You wouldn't believe it. Okay.
So
everyone believes that we just live here.
Yeah.
We saw Pot of Desires there being negated by the Ash Blossom that was in hand for Philip, turn 1. And now Lunalights have Pendulum Scales. Didn't even know they had Pendulum Scales.
Yeah, it's a Pendulum fusion deck.
Okay.
That's all
inherently, that sounds quite good, because fusion is a means of summoning that will recur your materials back to the extra deck. But I have no idea what they actually do. What was the card sent to the graveyard there? The Panther Dancer?
Yeah, we're going to bring that up for you guys.
Yeah, so the non-pendulum Lunalight, she copies the effect of a Lunalight monster that is sent from the deck or extra deck to the graveyard.
So this particular card, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And once per turn during your main phase 1, you can activate this effect for the rest of its turn. The first time each monster your opponent controls would be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed. Also, this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls twice each this turn. So you can deal a lot of damage in battles. It's basically turning an opponent's monster into a Spirit Reaper in a way. Back in the days when you could attack over it a million times.
Okay, so it feels like we've just had a contact fusion of 3 Lunalights from Grave for some big angry Lunalight with a sword.
Yeah, so the... I think it's the Wolf. The Wolf actually allows you to fusion summon using Lunalight monsters in your graveyard by banishing them, I think.
Once per turn, you can fusion summon one Lunalight fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your graveyard. So he's banished a Lunalight fusion and 2 smaller Lunalights.
Absurd.
So now the very angry Lunalight monster. Let's get that up before.
Leo Dancer.
Yeah.
How do you know she's very angry?
3,500 attack.
Tom's deciding what he's playing at the next YCS right now.
Yeah.
Lunalights.
They're winning over new players here. I mean, you got to give it to him. He's definitely have the element of surprise on his side.
Yeah.
And I don't think his opponent saw that coming.
I think he actually played it very cleverly as well, because as we were talking about how he could use the Raigeki to clear out the Vortex if its negation was used, he even summoned the Baguska in defense position, turning off the ability to use that Vortex Dragon, but he conserved the Raigeki for his next turn, knowing that he wasn't going to have a battle phase on his first turn.
Yep.
He could lock the game down for a whole passage of turns with the Baguska, and then use the Raigeki on the next main phase 1 to be able to clear out the board and make way for big angry Lunalight with a sword.
Leo Dancer. The big one.
Yeah,
big scary one.
Like you said, all credit to Michael Neugebauer. This was nicely executed here.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're like, oh, the theory is fine. He's got some good ideas, but the execution is lacking.
Yeah.
This is quite the opposite.
Yeah. And it's a shame when you know, we don't know what Lunalights do all that much. I've not played Lunalight. I think I played Lunalights once. And I played Black Sheep in Zodiac, but you know, we can't appreciate just how well executed that was, because we want to see.
Let's just put it differently. We want to see more of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
More players that have like crazy deck ideas, something that you don't expect at the tournament. And I mean, he won his first round. I know, guys, this doesn't mean like infinite things, but if he keeps going strongly, then we might see that more at future tournaments. Maybe it's also a lot of players who are just like, yeah, I know that this is the best deck, but I don't want to play it. So they just went with these crazy other decks.
In many ways, you have to feel really sorry for Philip if he does end up coming down here. Like, Lunalights is a deck that's not exactly given the best rep, so he might have to go back to his friends and say, I just lost to Lunalights on stream.
The walk of shame, basically.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. That's rough.
There's a German expression which is Kanossergang, and we're back to Gang, our running gag of the weekend.
Is that the walk of shame?
It is the walk of shame, yes. It is from a historical event where I'm not sure what his position was, like an army general or something. His name was Canossa, and he had to travel over the Alps in winter to go to Rome, I think, and tell the Pope that he lost the fight or something, and that he's asking for forgiveness, something like that.
Okay.
And so he had to travel over the Alps with only a couple of guys helping him, and it was very rough, obviously. And that's the German expression is Kanossergang, so that's like the walk of shame to your friends. And
there you go.
And there's also a German word for a situation so strange that you can't explain it. So he might be feeling a bit of that right now.
Situation so strange that you can't explain
something snort. We were talking about yesterday.
Well, sorry, what is the name? What is the word that you?
I can't remember the word itself, but we
tech team knows. Tech team definitely knows.
You mean Erklärungsnot?
Erklärungsnot. There we go.
Right. Okay. Yeah, this is one of those. We just add nouns until we have something funny. So you have Erklärung, which is explanation, and Not, which is
nothing.
Yeah, it's like when you're under pressure or something, then you're basically in Not. So we just add those two words together and you have a new word. Yeah. Just like Schadenfreude, basically.
So I imagine that those two words we've just gone through might be summing up how Philip's afraid of feeling if he...
Yeah, he's going to come up over to his friends and he's like, guys, I hated having this Kanossergang to you, and I'm really in Erklärungsnot on how to tell you how this happened.
And then all of those guys will be feeling Schadenfreude.
Yeah, okay. No, you learn so much. This is the most educational program I think half of you guys have ever watched when it comes to learning German.
Yeah. Okay, so the match is underway here. We see Pendulum playing first again. Magical Exemplar with Upstart Goblin just as a free counter. So ticks him closer to getting that 3 counters on there to get a search for another Pendulum monster.
Unfortunately, all of our funny German jokes aren't actually going to do that well because all of the Germans are here.
Yeah, right. Let's just hope they're going to watch it back and then listen to it.
Yeah.
Yes, but there's an evenly matched in Michael's opening hand.
He loves that evenly matched.
Yeah, I mean, so far everything's serving him well. He's waiting for that second card that can destroy a lot of cards.
Yeah.
Dimensional Barrier is kind of weird when you don't want to go first. Dimensional Barrier.
Yeah, well,
I mean, he sided it in.
Yeah, Dimensional Barrier is one of those cards which I have a particular line of thinking whenever I win game one that some people agree with, some people don't like. That, you know, yeah, you're not going to get to go first and get the full usage of Dimensional Barrier, but if you do manage to get a really good usage of such a powerful card, then you could just blow out the second game.
You're saying it's worth taking the risk.
Yeah, so you're already up a game. Why not take that risk?
Right. Oh, yeah, that's the ongoing discussion that we keep having.
Yeah.
With you saying that if you won the first game, you can take more risks in the second one.
Yeah.
And some people would agree, and some would not.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily correct, but it's the way that I would like to
it's
play.
a possible way of thinking. Yeah.
Philip's in a bit of an interesting position here where he's forced to put together 2 low scales on both sides of his pendulum. So he'll need to search for a monster that he can get onto the field here to make his Electromite and start fixing the problems he's put for himself.
Yeah.
What kind of problems has
I don't think we have a
Well, he has a scale 2 and a scale 3 in his pendulum zones at the moment.
So
he actually can't pendulum zone.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem.
Unless there's a monster with 2.5 stars.
We see the effect of the new Heavy Metal Foes Electromite will be able to come along and start fixing some of the predicament that he's put himself into here. Yep. So he'll have to use his normal summon to get the second pendulum monster material onto the field, but that's fine. Sometimes you don't have the same insane turbo hand he had game 1. But even then, we saw it not making the grade.
It wasn't enough, yeah.
Against Lunalights.
Just had to throw that in there.
Valuable commentary being added.
Yeah, let's not forget. Well, I mean, like you said, that Leo Dancer looked pretty angry.
Yeah.
It was dishing out a lot of damage.
There's many others. There's a Panther Dancer, which that's my favorite because it rhymes, and then Cat Dancer as well.
Yeah, it sounds like actually in the name of a song.
I mean, if
Panther Dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
If you were staring down a 3,500 attack cat with a sword that's just been summoned from nowhere out of the graveyard, you'd know about it.
Yeah. And he's dancing in your face.
Slicing and dicing and making all the right moves.
Yeah. Twerking at you while stabbing you in the face.
You missed that yesterday evening. Because I'm currently obsessed with German children's songs, because that's what I'm listening to all day long.
Yeah.
There is one that is called "The Owl is Dancing," which is the best song ever. And
the
I explained
owl is dancing.
The owl is dancing. Yeah. And I explained it to the.
Is it dancing?
It is.
Okay.
But not with its feet. It's using its wings.
So
it's a very funny song.
Philip has quite bravely here activated the on-summon effect of his Electromite. If he'd run into a Ghost Ogre at that point and lost it before he could destroy his scale, he would have been in a world of trouble.
Right.
But no Ghost Ogre for Michael, so both effects go through
He felt like he had to risk it. Do you think he had to risk it, or...?
He didn't have a strong hand. He might have just decided that if it doesn't all go through, then it's not worth trying and the game is lost anyway. And he also may be feeling like if he's playing against Lunalight, perhaps he has a read that deck doesn't play many hand traps.
Right.
Can I just take a look at this list?
We do see that Michael, our Lunalight player, is playing Ghost Ogre, so if he'd had it at that point, it would have been really devastating for Philip's side of the field.
And I think Michael is not super happy at the moment because his hand is not terrible, but he must be feeling like I've been let down a little bit by my deck. Especially if he draws into Ghost Ogre now, that would be... it's like your deck trolling yourself.
We see a very similar start to Game 1 after things got fixed by that Electromite. We'll see the Zephyr Metaltron coming out and a Odd Eyes Vortex sitting behind it. Are we able to pull up the effect of the Zephyr Metaltron now?
Yeah, unfortunately we don't have it in the app, so we can't show it on the screen, but I can tell you what it does. It's got lots of words on it. So if a monster this card points to that was special summoned from the extra deck is destroyed by battle or opponent card effect, add a monster from your graveyard or one face-up pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. You can target one monster on each player's field that was special summoned on the extra deck, except this card, and banish both until the end phase.
Okay, so the effect is if things that it points to get destroyed, not when it itself is destroyed.
Yes.
You see Philip changing his ways from game one and deciding that he'd rather not have the evenly matched resolve this time.
Yeah, he learned. And this time, much to the dismay of Michael's fan base, he doesn't have the Raigeki to follow it up.
Or the second evenly matched.
Or the second evenly matched. Yeah, that would have been a blowout right now. So he's got 2-dimensional barriers now. Nah.
Yeah, which actually isn't much use at this
Yeah,
point.
not when the field has already been assembled.
No.
So how can he somehow clear this board?
He has Tenki in hand as his only way of searching for another monster, but it's likely to get taken out by the Tornado Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Philip feels like it's only being played to try and bait the effect.
Right, and he might...
Oh, mind games.
Yeah, but if you actually study your opponent's face, this is one of those situations where Michael is kind of giving away that he doesn't have a second super strong negation spell.
Yeah.
Not negation, destruction.
Yeah.
Of course, the Ash Blossom in hand would be able to negate the Tenki if he decides he did want to keep the Tornado Dragon available.
Yeah, good
but
point.
no.
He's going to get it.
Goes straight for
away.
Tornado Dragon, feeling like the Ash is more versatile to remain in hand.
Okay. I can see where he's coming from. I think it's...
He's just going to set that black sheep at this point.
I would love to say it's fair, but I'm not sure if it's really fair.
Yeah, I think Michael is definitely not been able to keep his cool here. He's
he's
making it rather obvious that he's run out of options.
hanging in the ropes here, yeah. Hey, thinking about the third set, goes with it, and that concludes his turn.
He may have been considering whether he wants to activate it immediately to take out one of the Pendulum scales, whilst the Vortex Dragon has already used its effect this turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but things are looking good for Philip this time around. 2 copies of Dragon Shrine in his hand now, and Ash Blossom, like you mentioned, one more option to negate things.
So Dragon Shrine for Philip at this point does absolutely nothing. He already has the Dark Worm in his graveyard. Dragon Shrine is just a card to help him set up on his first turn, and he can't even summon the Dark Worm that is in his graveyard as it requires no monsters on his side of the field.
Right. So that's like he's playing with the cards on his field, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing else that can help him very much.
The cards on his field and those in his extra deck.
Right. Okay. Good point. Yeah. Let's not forget about that. So here's the Dimensional Barrier, which, as we said, is probably not doing all that much.
No, it seems like a preemptive measure here. I think there would only be a kind of a line of plays where he tries to negate it with Vortex or something, and then he plays the second one that would give any kind of advantage to Michael here, but I think it very much looks like Phillips in the driving seat here.
It'll take a very strong draw from Michael to get back into this at this point, but we've seen that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Preparation of rights.
Don't think we're likely to see that here, and nor even Card of Demise, but...
something equivalent in Lunalight.
He's got Pot of Desire, so it's like the only...
A Raigeki would go the distance. It would draw out the negation from Vortex Dragon, but he can flip up another Dimensional Barrier, Cool Fusion, and negate that negation.
That would be the ideal situation, I think.
But he did draw the Cosmic Cyclone and set it, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so nothing happened. And now it might already be...
Ooh.
I think this is going to be game, right?
Yes, the Tornado Dragon has taken out the Dimensional Barrier, leaving Michael with nothing really going for him right now.
Even he drew Raigeki. Oh, that's so rough. Because if he'd have picked the other back row. Oh, that's rough.
He needs to try and force a negation with this Cosmic Cyclone now, but he's targeted a card that does nothing, so there's no way that's going to get negated.
Yeah.
If the Cosmic Cyclone had been the target for Tornado Dragon...
That's a negation and that's the game. Ah, that was rough. That was rough. One turn earlier.
Yeah.
That could have made all the difference.
It was a 50-50 die. Philip literally picked up and rolled a die to see which of the spell and traps he was going to hit.
Oh my! He's gonna put that die somewhere in his on his desk at home so he can stare at it every time he's like thinking about building decks. It's like this helped me. This just got me a game win at a feature match.
We do have to remember, of course, that even if Michael had resolved the Regeki, he had nothing left.
Yeah, okay, that is true. That is true. He was there wide open with just 4,000 life points remaining, so that's also true. Could have gone.
We like to live on slivers of dreams, though, don't we? Here on the coverage.
We're walking a very fine line very often. Yeah. Okay, so it's 1-1 between these two guys. 11 minutes remaining in the round. The rest of the field is already done with the time in the round. However, they are now in overtime, and as we saw in our first round feature match, sometimes that can take almost as much time as the round itself. So there's no telling how much longer this game is going to go. Is there going to be the option for Michael to not go second?
Yes, I think we've just seen him siding out his evenly matched in favor of putting in, it was a trap card, so likely either the anti-spell fragrances or the solemn strikes, possibly both.
Uh-huh. Maybe we can make it out.
I think that Michael will definitely be opting to play first here, potentially hoping to completely shut down the first turn from Philip with some powerful traps.
Right. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And whether Philip is going to be able to see that coming. Or
yeah. I don't think he has it. Yeah, there's nothing he could really do to stop that anyway.
Yeah. But
well, Philip does have access to Twin Twisters in the side deck.
Yeah, almost certainly those are going to go in.
He's also got dimensional barriers. He's also got evenly matched. This could be really fun. He's suddenly like, turnabout is fair play. Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to play evenly matched now.
And so the matcher becomes the matchy.
Yeah, we have a Kaiju here, and a Ghost Reaper, and Winter Cherries.
I don't see either of those coming in particularly strong here. Kaiju's, of course, shutting down monsters that negate things in the opponent's turn, but from what we've seen, it looks like Lunalights, they don't care for negation, they're just there to kill.
Yeah.
Meow.
They're around. They're dancing with vengeance. I want to see a version of Tiny Dancer, of that Elton John song, with Leo Dancer.
Yeah.
And then we're going to play it.
Did you look at me then as if like I was about to start singing? Because that would usually happen.
I was hopeful.
I restrained myself.
No, actually, I think Rob is the man for that job.
Yeah, I usually join in, to be fair.
Okay.
Yeah, Tom, by the way, you got to start some songs every now and again. But make sure that we...
I'm not sure that's my position on this panel.
Oh, it is. It is. You just got to make sure that we know the lyrics. We both know the lyrics. Otherwise, it gets weird when one of us is just singing.
Yeah. The voice of the Yu-Gi-Oh cast.
This is the voice. Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be good.
There's a handshake. 8.5 minutes remaining. Michael can decide who goes first. He probably wants to go first, as we mentioned. He did side out the evenly matched from what we could tell. And
I see a couple of purple cards.
Those can be really important in this matchup. If we see something like anti-spell fragrance without an out, then that can be game over before anything's happened.
This might have been the fastest I've ever seen anybody enter cards in
yeah, that was pretty impressive.
On the left-hand side. So we got Pendulum card, Call, Purple Poison Magician, Supreme King, Gate 0, Pendulum Call, and Ash Blossom, Joyous Spring. Cards for the opening hand for Philip. But, much more important, how is Michael going to go first? He's got an anti-spell fragrance and a barrier. That is some disruption right there.
We do see the anti-spell, but Purple Poison's pretty good at dealing with face-up problems like that.
He kept the Dimensional Barrier in hand.
Well, yeah.
Okay, that is the anti-spell fragrance.
So I expect that we're going to see the Purple Poison Magician set here.
Yeah, if Michael is able to just completely be like omnipresent here and understand what Philip has face down, he can flip up the Dimensional Barrier, right?
What do we see in the
No, he kept the
Michael.
Dimensional Barrier in his hand.
Okay, that's...
So, yeah, Michael is playing the Abyss Dweller here. Oh, no, Abyss Dweller, of course, not going to do anything as it activates in the extra deck, not the graveyard.
It would have to be the Dimensional Barrier.
Dimensional Barrier only negates the effects of monsters on the field.
Oh, is it? I thought it was just Pendulum. You would just be able to call Pendulum.
Monsters of the declared type can't be special summoned this turn, and their effects on the field are negated.
While they are on the field, yeah.
Oh, so that's not even going to help. This Purple Poison is going to be a real problem. Unless he's able to like banish it somehow with one of these crazy Lunalight dancers that we know about.
For all I know, there may be a Lunalight dancer that negates the effects of the things it destroys.
Yeah.
It's like a better version of Man-Eater Bug.
Man-Eater Bug got power creeped.
Yeah, it's like an anything-eater bug. And he's also got a respectable def.
Yeah.
There's a Monster Reborn in Michael's hand,
First
considering
time.
whether to set it, but he'd clog up his pendulum zones.
Yeah. That's
Nothing in the graves yet.
Yeah, that seems weird. That's actually the first time we're to see Monster Reborn on the live stream as well.
Yeah.
In fact, ever, because it's never been legal while we've had the live stream.
Surely not.
No, this is not true.
You sure?
I'm sure. I'm just gonna say I'm sure. But it's gonna be. It has been legal for at some point.
When did the live stream begin?
2014.
Amsterdam.
Oh no, that was way after Monster Reborn got banned again.
Yeah, I think Monster Reborn. I think this is the first ever time we are seeing Monster Reborn on the live stream.
In 2014, we had Soul Charge, so we definitely didn't have Monster Reborn at the same time.
Yeah, we've never. Yeah, that's a good point because that was the. Yeah, we had Soul Charge then.
This is the first time that we've ever had a Soul Charge and a Monster Reborn in the same decks.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you guys might be right.
Outside of traditional format.
I might have thought of the many times you had written coverage.
Good to say, Ollie. That's a while back.
Yeah, that is a while back. It's a long while back.
Yeah, but so we've seen Solemn Judgment and Monster Reborn already. I wonder which version of Monster Reborn we actually have on the. That version.
That version. The ultra rare version.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, the card is too old. It's not in the app.
Interesting that he's chosen to flip up Dimensional Barrier there.
Was he protecting his...
What is the on-field effect of Black Fang? I thought it was just an effect when it's destroyed.
Yeah, it is. You're right. Only when it is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one spellcaster monster, dark spellcaster monster in your graveyard, and special summon it. He's going all in here. Like 1700 attack, that's fine.
That Monster Reborn's live now.
Yeah, true that.
This anti-spell fragrance is going to cause problems. That's why he said the Reborn.
That's why he said it, yeah. He saw that coming. Now he's got a polymerization. So weird. Drawing all the cards in not the correct order. Especially, also foolish burial goods. So also like, this deck is trolling himself. It's like, here are all the spell cards you're playing. You're going to be drawing those.
He's playing quite a few though, so
yeah. I mean, he cited out a couple of those, I guess.
Yeah, anti-spell, really strong choice against Pendulum when you can put out a monster that's bigger than just normal summon a Pendulum monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is not looking very well for Michael Neugebauer. 3 minutes left on the clock. But there's a chance that that doesn't even make a difference if the beats keep coming. Also sounds like a song title, to be honest.
I was thinking about the gang-related joke again. I was trying to come up with some gang-related joke, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, be careful. So nobody hears like this isolated without the context from the story earlier.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We did have yeah. Go watch the first feature match.
Yeah, that will tell you all you need to know. Well, which is actually a good reminder in case you're just tuning in. You can find everything that we're recording over the course of this weekend on YouTube. So even if you're not watching live, you can very quickly check out round 1 feature match, for example, or the post-game analysis.
I highly advise going back and watching the first feature match.
Yeah, that was a really good match. So whenever there's a lot of time in between rounds, you got something to do, guys. Okay, so here we see some more damage being inflicted.
Michael's just bleeding life points here. The Black Fangs at 1,700 attack each and Purple Poison for another just over 1,000?
1,200, yeah.
1,200, yep.
So he's taken 46 from just those 3 monsters sat on the field.
We haven't seen that in a while. Like, usually you don't see any normal summons, small...
Yeah, just hitting stuff.
Small scale monsters, yeah.
Tornado Dragon seems to be spelling the end for anti-spell fragrance.
Is that the right time to do it? Because
I don't think
it looks like it's as much of a hindrance for his opponent as it is for him. And with his hand, I mean, there's like no greens whatsoever. Yeah, so it's actually working for him. And now Michael is like, is my deck trolling me?
Yeah, whilst we see no spell cards in Philip's hand, all of the Pendulum monsters can't be activated as scales for so long as anti-spells face up.
So Kaleido Chick. What does Kaleido Chick do? Ah, yeah, it's the effect monster.
It is the effect monster.
There's only one.
You can send one Lunalight monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. And the name of this face-up card on the field can be treated as the sent monsters if used as fusion material this turn. It's a bit like Gladiator Beast. What's his name?
It wasn't a Gladiator. Well, most of the time it was a Gladiator Beast. You're thinking of Elemental Hero Prisma.
Yeah, that is exactly the card I thought of, yeah.
Most of the time, there's probably been more cases where Elemental Hero Prisma was a Gladiator Beast than an Elemental Hero.
Yeah, then it's its own name, yeah. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target one polymerization in your graveyard, add it to your hand, okay? And you can only use this effect once per turn. And if it's banished, you can activate this effect. This turn, your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated during the battle phase. None of that sounds like I win the game. But at least he's got a monster now.
Yeah.
So see, Monster Reborn.
Finally!
That is an ultra rare version as well. That's cool.
And he'll be summoning back a Lunalight Black Sheep?
Yeah, I think it's
not the most impactful Monster Reborn I've ever seen.
So
no.
Last time I've seen that card on a screen, I think Yugi played it.
Yeah.
But he does have the polymerization here.
So all of these spell cards...
and the old school polymerization artwork as well. That's amazing.
Like his deck was telling him exactly how to play this. It provided all the spell cards first, so he could set them. And now, finally, he can go for something.
So which...
It's another scary dancer.
Yeah, it's not a tiny dancer, it's a scary dancer. You're going to see that in just a second. This time it's the Panther Dancer. And once per turn during your main phase 1, you can activate this effect. For the rest of this turn, the first time each monster your opponent controls would be destroyed by battle. It's not destroyed, so everything can be attacked twice, in theory.
Wait, really?
Which also happens to be the effect of this card, because it can attack all monsters your opponent controls twice each. So you can attack twice into everything that's
cool.
On Philip's side of the field.
Yeah.
And when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, just wait, it goes on. This card gains 200 attack until the end of the battle phase.
Wow.
So this is like a card that says damage dealing is my pastime. I really like to do that.
Yeah. Is it not protected by purple poison, though? Sorry, is it protected from purple poison? Otherwise, that's going to cause issues.
Cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Did I skip over that part?
No. There's a lot of words. There's a lot of words, and I just heard the part about attacking twice and got excited.
How much damage is he going to do with that?
It's not going to be enough to kill by itself. So unless he can get something else from the cards in his hand.
But the purple poison, that is 1/6 twice. He's got to do 1/6 twice.
It gains attack each time it runs in?
When it destroys one. It destroys one. So after that, it's at 3,000, and then it can attack into the Tornado Dragon twice. That's 900 twice.
Yeah.
So 3/6 and 1,800. That's, like you said, not enough. But I mean, he's like tying things up here.
But it's gonna result in his anti-spell fragrance biting the dust when he attacks over that purple poison. And we can see that Philip has a handful of Pendulum monsters, and there isn't going to be any interaction from Michael.
Yeah. I was just going to say here, that if Philip doesn't activate the Tornado Dragon effect because he thinks, oh, purple poison will sort out the anti-spell fragrance, then he could just leave the purple poison as it is, and then that's it. He's locked down from the anti-spell fragrance. He doesn't have to try it. He doesn't have to destroy him this turn. He doesn't have to, destroy the purple poison right now.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's just imagine that Philip ended with those 3 monsters on the field.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he would have lost now.
Yeah.
Not 100%. No, they were 2,100 attack. So they were strong enough.
No, he should leave the purple poison. If he leaves the purple poison, then the anti-spell fragrance is just going to lock him down for a turn.
Yeah.
He may, of course, have something that he's planning to do with the Kaleido check and polymerization in hand in his main phase 2 that he needs anti-spell gone to be able to play.
That's true.
I don't know what else is in his extra deck. I don't know if it's relevant at all, but nope. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah,
it feels
like... Is there any reason not to keep the purple poison?
I think it's not an option that is like super obvious to consider.
Okay.
Be like, oh, by the way, I could also leave this card on the field instead of inflicting more pain.
And that's time on the round.
That is time in the north.
Yeah, I saw that as the primary option here. That leaves the purple poison for now, and then, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it would have been an option, definitely. Now, as you said, with that anti-spell fragrance gone,
Philip has all the cards in the world.
Yeah, he has like 8 cards in hand.
That's basically opening all the floodgates. So how is he gonna get to victory here?
Not a lot.
Or are there like a million ways to get there?
Yeah, I think.
I don't think there's any shortage of play routes through here.
Yeah,
He's going to get another search from the summon here, unless he has both of his gate zeros already out.
It also looks like Michael sees the writing on the wall. That he's like, yeah, I think I know where this is going. Kinda, at least.
Both of the face-down cards for Michael are Polymerization.
Yeah.
Not the strongest trap card in the game.
Yeah. That's too bad. I would have loved to see that Panther Dancer inflict enough damage.
Panther Dancer only has protection from destruction effects?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a Harmonizing Magician in hand? Or is it just more purple poisons?
2 purple poisons, a Time Gazer, Ash Blossom, and Supreme King Gate 0.
Okay, it looks like a Harmonizing Magician on the stream camera that we see here.
On the right, yeah, it does.
Which is, of course, a tuner. Would it give him access to Ignista?
Yeah, it definitely is.
One of the many ways to not care too much about immunity to destruction. But instead, he chooses to put it in the scale. But there's no shortage of routes for Philip here.
Yeah. And so let's see how much longer this is going to go. Very carefully placing the cards in those different zones.
Yeah. That actually makes a difference.
Yeah, it is. It is going to be important again anymore. After so many years.
Yeah.
What was it? Rush Rhino? Back in the days that said if it's attacking a card in the same column, it gets like 400 attack or something.
No, it wasn't Rush Rhino. That was, you're thinking of Tech Genesis Rush Rhino, but no, it wasn't that
Something like a Rampaging Rhinos.
I just have the artwork, and like honestly, I can still remember that.
Yeah, it certainly had a very similar art to
Rush Rhino.
TG Rush Rhino,
Right.
but very different card.
There was only like 4 cards that actually referred to columns.
I think it was
yeah.
It was
a
that
level
shifting
3
sand.
with 1500 attack. Senate Switch was the continuous spell that moved things from side to side.
Oh, yeah. What was Shifting Sands? That was rearranging the face.
I would love to say good times, but those cards have not been played very often.
Yeah.
So there's a Borreload Dragon now.
Yep. Just about the best way to deal with anything that has generic protection.
With anything.
Yeah.
Can't be targeted, Borreload. Can't be destroyed, Borreload. Unless you've got a blindingly loyal goblin, Borreload's going to take it.
Yeah. That is a real card, by the way, for those at home. Go have a look at that.
Or Botanical Lion.
Yeah, Botanical Lion as well. Oh, there's also is it Tabeto Shien? No, he's the one that's unaffected by trap cards. I'm sure there's another one that's 1500.
Yeah, and so we see a Lunalight attacking for game, but not for the Lunalight player.
Yes, indeed.
That's highly ironic.
That is wrapping things up for the second feature match. So, guys, it's time to talk about that in our post-game analysis. Yeah, welcome back, guys, to the coverage of YCS Bochum 2018. We just concluded our second feature match of the day, where we had Philipp Weidinger going up with Pendulum Magicians against Michael Neugebauer with Lunalight. And, I mean, the Lunalight didn't disappoint.
No, that was a cool...
First game was quite fun. We saw what it could do. It has very angry dancers. And they were showing their claws and dealing a lot of damage, which eventually won him the first game.
Yeah. It was a cool deck.
It's also an interesting way how he built his deck with 3 copies of Evenly Matched in the main deck. We don't see that very often this weekend. So I think he's able to be catching a lot of people off guard.
Yes, certainly.
I don't see like how everybody's going to be like, yeah, I know what this deck is doing. I'm prepared for this. So so that and good execution. We should highlight that. In the first game, Michael had 2 copies of Evenly Matched. Could have like activated both of them. Only activated one. His opponent had a negation, didn't pull the trigger on the negation, so all of that skillful play from both players, actually.
Yeah.
So anything else? Was there any lasting memory that you have, Thomas, after those 3 games?
I was half expecting to see Lunalights coming away with a win there. Michael playing it seemed to be doing a very good job. I certainly respect the deck more than I did before.
Okay, that's good.
But yeah, it's a lot of new cards to me.
Positive result.
Yep.
We can definitely say that. Yeah, and I mean, kudos to him for playing something creative. Like we said, won his first round. He won the first game in the feature match. He was coming close. If there would have been like another monster on Philip's side of the field, when Michael was able to go into Panther Dancer, he could have won that game. Depending on what exactly would have been summoned to the field. But it's a scary card.
Yeah,
it's a scary card. Cannot be destroyed by card effects, can attack twice, and then it gets even stronger. So it's better than back in the days when you had to have your opponent have a scapegoat, then you need like Windstorm of Itakwa, and then you had to have a Sura Priest, and this sounds crazy, like it's never going to happen, but I think this happened at least once for me.
Yeah, so, absolutely. And Azura Priest Honest as well was also a good one.
Now it's one card that can do something similar enough at least.
Yeah, but we see Philip here on the other side of the table. I think the herald of what we have more to come this weekend, just showing how powerful and how consistent the Pendulum deck is, even with some hands that didn't seem like what they needed initially. You can just fix them. Heavy Metal Foes Electromite is a fixer.
You mentioned that during the game. You said there are so many ways that you can go wrong because the deck is going to have your back and get you back on track, basically.
Yeah.
So, if you're a Pendulum player, good luck dealing with what Thomas is saying about you. It's not going to be that nice watching it back afterwards. You're going to be like, so many mistakes, but still the deck is fixing everything. So it's going to be interesting to see that this weekend. Do you think it's the correct choice to advance to day 2, or is it even the correct choice to win the whole thing? Because there's a difference between those two.
I think that it's definitely the correct choice to advance to day 2. You'll pick up a lot of free wins just by having the deck that's the most powerful one in the room. When it comes to winning the event, it's going to be someone who knows the deck that they're playing very well. Because once you get to the top cut, everyone is playing a good deck. Everyone's playing a deck that has the potential to go all the way. And it will be the person who has a little bit of luck, a lot of preparation, and get some good matchups on the way through. So you need to be well prepared, and anyone that makes it to the top cut has a shot at winning.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit to Philip Weidinger, our winner of round 2. We're going to be right back, guys, with an interview.